This is Hillary, and this is Sunday Morning Live with John M. And here is our host, John M.
Good morning, everybody. We are here once again. As Hillary said, this is Sunday Morning Live. I am your host, John M. And we're happy to be back here, as always. And as usual, I do have a very special guest with me this morning, Eric Chase, whom I will be introducing you to in just a moment. But as is my way, I will start things off with a song. This is kind of an older one, but I don't know. I knew Eric was going to be here this morning, and I felt like playing this one, so I'm gonna play it. So there. Love is an awesome thing. It can change you from inside. Love can make you spread your wings if you're not afraid to fly. Some go running after love, and some just run and hide. Some have never tasted love, they've never even tried. But we can make it if we try a little harder. We can make it if we trust our hearts. We can make it. We can go a little farther. We can try to get to know each other. That's the way it starts. Time will never change your past, but it can change your point of view. Time, why does it move so fast? There's so much left to do. Why are we afraid of love? Afraid of something new? I am not afraid of say these things to you. Can make it if we try a little harder. We can make it if we trust our hearts. We can make it. We can go a little farther. We can try to get to know each other. That's the way it starts. While we have a chance, let's not lose another day. Now we've got it in our hands. Don't throw it all away. Come and lay it on the line. There is no other way. Come, if you're so inclined. I need to hear you say, baby, we can make it. If we try a little harder, we can make it. If we trust our hearts, we can make it. We can go a little farther. We can try to get to know each other. That's the way it starts. We can make it. That's from my live acoustic solo CD, no overdubs. And Now, it is my great pleasure to welcome, for the first time, Eric Chase.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thanks for having me, John.
I ran into you. I did not know you, and I ran into you, I guess, about a month ago now at Cotty Knuckles' house concert at the A-Frame, right at the A-Frame, and you played in the Song Circle that night. And I said, man, I want to have this guy on my show. So
very kind.
We'll put it together pretty quickly.
Well, I'm happy to be with you.
So, do you want to chat a little bit first, or you want to just jump right into a song? I'll leave it up.
Either
to you.
one is fine. I love to talk.
Okay. Well, I noticed. Well, actually, I'm not going to talk to you about that until after you play something.
Sure.
Why don't you go ahead and play something?
Sure.
And that'll open up stuff for us to
that.
talk about. So.
This is a song I just finished this week. Well,
Wow.
It actually probably isn't finished. I still have wet ink on the lyric sheet over here. And it started out to be a song of me as an older guy giving advice to a kid who was fed up, leaving home and hitting the road, and he was going to do life on his own. And when I started writing it, it was like advice to the kid, and these demons from when I was 19 years old rose up and hijacked the song. So the first half of the song is kind of trying to set a little context for the kid, and then we get into the advice part at the end. This is called Get It Off My Chest. Never told you I left home at age 19. I was scared and lonesome, sad and mean, 'cause I could no longer be home with my sweet family. Too young to know how to make it clean. I was on my first solo trip around the sun, praying, Lord, don't let me hurt anyone. 'Cause the winds of war had me always moving on. But it's all right now, those days are gone. Young man, you don't know me very well, and all these tumbling stories that I tell, but I only tell the ones that disturb my rest. Guess it helps me some to get it off my chest. When you hit the road, remember this: sometimes truth and lies are found in the same sweet kiss. And life is gonna kick you to the curb sometimes. Gotta find your own way, even when you're blind. So do what's right, do what's kind. Guard your heart and free your mind. And don't you ever tell a lie in a matter of the heart. Aim for that shining star before you ever start. Young man, you don't know me very well, and all these tumbling stories that I tell, but I only tell the ones that disturb my rest. Guess it helps me some to get it off my chest. I guess it helps me some to get it off my chest.
Wow. That's a beautiful song.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
That's really, really sweet.
Thanks.
Okay, so now I know what I want to ask you about.
All right.
I want to ask you a bunch of stuff about your guitar, about the way you play it, and all kinds of stuff. But
If you look at the guitar, you can see there's a story there.
Yeah, it's been a few miles.
This guitar was purchased by my father about 1956 or so at Pedrini Music on Main Street in Alhambra. It's the first guitar I ever saw.
Dare I ask what he paid for it back then?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Probably $200 or $300, I would think.
Yeah.
This is a 1954 Martin 0018. And despite the abuse that my brother and probably a couple of sisters too gave to it through the years, it has warmed up and become just a really wonderful instrument. When my dad passed away about 15 years ago, my brother took the guitar. I had a couple Martins already, and but he ended up not playing it. He's more of an electric guitar guy, and it sat in his closet for years. And I finally fished it out of there last year, and I said, hey, could I put this on stage and see what it'll do? And I've been playing it pretty much every night ever since.
Wow.
So I learned on this guitar, and as you see, I don't reverse the strings. I just flip the whole guitar over.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
My dad insisted that I not mess with changing the strings and
Yeah.
things. He kind of valued the guitar. He never really learned to play it very well. He had a little chord book, and he would strum away and stuff. But I was intrigued with the sound of it even as a little kid.
Yeah.
And about age 12, I got strong enough to actually play the thing, and picked it up and started playing.
Well, you know, the thing that I noticed, one of the things I notice about your playing that it really intrigues me is that not only do you flip it over and play it, as they say, upside down and backwards,
Inside out.
and you know, I've known that's a rare thing, but I have known one or two other guitar players who've done that. But it takes on a whole different. You've really developed a style of playing that it just has a whole different feel and a whole different. Like I was noticing that song you just played, the chords are pretty simple. I could figure out even backwards. It was G and a walk down from C and so forth. But yet it just has a whole different kind of melodic flow to it, and you do things with the hammer-ons and the pull-offs on the chords. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
And I understand, if I remember correctly, that you are completely self-taught.
Pretty much, yeah, that's right. I've never had a formal guitar lesson. Although I do say I had a lesson one night from Eric Clapton, who I've never met, but I saw him at the Whiskey A Go-Go back in the day. He was in a band called Cream with Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce, and they appeared at the Whiskey, and I managed to sidle up to the edge of that small stage there, and I stood at Eric Clapton's feet for 2.5 hours, and I watched every lick he played. So that I consider a guitar playing lesson for sure.
Yeah.
But no, the rest of it was just invented.
Did you ever seek out lessons from anybody?
Well, I went down to the local music store where this guitar came from, and I showed him what I'd already been playing for 2 or 3 years at that point.
Oh, really?
On my
Okay.
own.
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get better, and the guy saw what I was doing, and he said, I can't teach you. I don't know how to teach you. He needed me to reverse the strings to fit his method of teaching, and he wasn't going to retool his whole methodology, I guess. So I think he was more encouraging than I might be letting on, but I wasn't encouraged being a teenager.
Yeah.
I stormed out and said, forget it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're better off for it because
thanks.
you've come into your own with it now, and it's just some and it is a beautiful sounding instrument.
It is, yeah. It speaks beautifully.
But you do some real sweet stuff with it.
Thanks, John.
So, all right, let's get into some of the personal bio stuff. Where are you from?
I grew up in South Pasadena, California. I graduated
Really?
from South Pasadena High School, as did my father in his day. The family's been in South Pasadena for just about 100 years now. It's a wonderful old town. I wrote a song about the town. Well, I wrote a song about a girlfriend of mine from the town. But yeah, I love South Pasadena. I live in Sierra Madre now, but I have all these friends that have been living there ever since they were born, and it's a neat community. So, Southern California kid, grew up surfing and skiing and all the fun stuff, and of course listening to music and playing guitar.
And are you a career world touring musician these days? Or
I started out with big dreams in the '60s when I was a kid, and I was a draft eligible male at age 18, and the Vietnam War was in full cry at that point. And so I had to quit the band. because it was causing me to flunk out of college because I was playing in clubs every night till 2 in the morning, schlepping all my gear home, and then hitting an 8 o'clock class at the university. My grades were suffering as a result. And in order to keep my draft deferment, I had to stay in college full-time, 12 units or more per term. And so I quit the band, to my great regret. And they went on and did even more fun stuff. But we were a good band.
Well, but you didn't go to NAMM and get killed, so.
I did not, no. I did get drafted eventually. I got fed up. I dropped out of college and said, I'm going to turn around and stare at this demon and get it out of my life.
Wow.
And I did that, but I got a medical deferment, and so I didn't have to serve. I hate war, and I love veterans.
Yeah.
My dad's a veteran, you know. I mean, our family's full of soldiers on both sides. I wasn't protesting soldiers. I was protesting that particular war.
Thank you for making that clarification. I've had that, you know, that debate so many times in my life where people say, you know, oh, you're anti-military, you're anti-American, you're anti this and that, you're a commie, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
I don't believe in war. Period.
Right.
It ends there.
Yeah,
you
everybody
know?
loses. Everybody loses in war.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it certainly was a formative period in my life, and it shaped me into the man I am today. Really, I think those values that I had to come up with for myself, because we were kind of the rebels. You know, we weren't going along with the crowd. We were against all that, and it was kind of a lonesome time too. And when you're anxious about your fate, you know, it was Canada or prison or whatever. It steers your life. I got into drugs. Part of that lyric there that I just wrote in the newest song has a little anecdote about me leaving home for the first time and how I couldn't make it clean. I was smoking pot to calm myself down for the most part, and it was intolerable to my parents, who had 2 younger siblings still in the house when I did that, and they tossed me out. So that's kind of reflected in there. It's the best thing they ever did for me too, by the way. My mother is still living at age 98 up in Northern California. She lives near my brother Nick in a care home now. But she's, bless her Irish heart, she's my best friend, I think, in the world. Love my mom.
When you write, is it the guitar first, lyrics and melody first, both at once?
What is the first thing is an inspiration of some kind, and it can be a musical one. Like I see a guy play a lick, and I'm like, oh, I got to try that.
Yeah.
Or it's something in life, situational perhaps, or a memory that'll inspire a lyric, and then I have to work up a guitar part. So I do it both ways. Sometimes the music drives the lyrics, and other times the other way around. But most of my songs are just anesthesia for me. You know, it's therapeutic to play. It's why I've always played, really. Well, I shouldn't say that, because when I was a teenager, I had other motivations too. I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show, and that changed my feeling about playing the guitar.
Yeah.
I had been a Bob Dylan fan, and of course, going farther back, when I first picked this instrument up at age 12 or so, Pete Seeger, Kingston Trio, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
These were the big acoustic musicians of the day and the inspirations for me. And the sound of the music has always been intriguing to me. Every time I hear an acoustic guitar in any setting, I'm listening. It's just something about it that just captures my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
You got another one for us?
Sure. Let's see. I'll just leave it in the same key. Does anyone object to me using the same key? This is a song of departure. Here I go, away I'm going. Why I'm going's hard to tell. Feels like things are overflowing here inside this wishing well. Take my old pack off the wall now, and I fill it with the needed things. I sling it up across my shoulders and wonder what my next step brings. When I walk, I answer to no one. When I walk, my mind is free, and I don't know where I'm going to find someone who'll walk with me. Set my old pack on the ground now, 'cause it's time to shelter for the night. Will I dream of having someone when I dream my dreams tonight? Here I go, away I'm going. Why I'm going's hard to tell. Feels like things are overflowing here inside this wishing well.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
Do you, how much of a Paul Simon fan are you?
Oh, huge.
I had a feeling.
Head over heels for that guy.
You're
What a talent.
A little bit of your playing. I finally made that connection. You do a lot of, you know.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
all that. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. Paul stretched me, challenged me with his skill, and of course his songwriting is so beautifully crafted and so emotional. You know, that just really set a new bar for me. I love that guy.
One thing I realized, I had been a big fan of Paul Simon and Simon and Garfunkel for a long time, and it kind of amazed me when I came to this realization that I hadn't realized it years before. But something about Paul Simon's writing, a lot of the writers that I like personally tend to write in very down to earth, man on the street kind of terms, just plain English, the way you and I would talk to each other, and you know, this is what happened and this is how I feel about it. And I tend to shy away from flowery, poetic, decorative, you know, the silver chariot across the rainbow, you know, that kind of thing, you know, usually turns me off. But what I find with Paul Simon, when it just kind of hit me in the face so I couldn't ignore it anymore, was when I saw them in concert. A lot of his writing is very poetic,
yes,
and very artsy fartsy, yet between the melody and his delivery, it feels like he's,
That's
you know,
right.
I mean, you know, my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night. Nobody in the world talks like that.
That's right.
But when he sings it, it just feels perfectly natural.
That's right.
You know, and it amazes me. And so anyway, I see some Paul Simon influence.
Well, thanks.
So,
That's a compliment. I appreciate that. A guiding light for sure.
yeah. There's a few of them out there.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
know, if he sticks with it.
I think he's on his first farewell tour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So you were saying before you kind of came from rock and roll back in the.
I did. I was in a band in the late '60s, all of whom are still with us. There was a man called the Gross National Product, and we were
I've heard of them.
well, good. We were a gigging band in LA in the '60s. We were kind of the perennial opening act around town, and opened for some of the big acts of the day. And it was quite a crazy time to be in Hollywood playing music, I'll tell you. Had some interesting situations that arose. But we opened for the Doors in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Convention Center. That's probably our pinnacle gig. For me, it was anyway, and quite a night. And I have very fortunately retained acquaintances with some of those old rockers. And I still converse with them on occasion. It's fun to reminisce a little bit.
Yeah.
I was talking with a guy that worked on my last album. His name is David Kemper, and he's a drummer. And he was in a band called Focus, who had an album called Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
He was their drummer, and then he worked for. He was Bob Dylan's drummer in the Rolling Thunder Review days back in the '70s.
Yeah.
Worked with Bob for about 5 years, and he played for Jerry Garcia's band for 11 years with Jerry. We're sitting on the couch in recording sessions for my album. We were on a break, and Dave and I were sitting on the couch and comparing notes on Hollywood in 1966, 67, 68. What a crazy time it was.
Yeah.
And I was telling this story about all this stuff and psychedelic drugs and people, cars on fire, all this crazy stuff that was happening. And Kemper looked at me and he said, I rode around in the back of a limousine with Jerry Garcia for 11 years. And I just went,
Must have been rough.
you got me beat, brother.
Yeah.
Those times were as good as they were bad. You know, the reason we were redefining music and art and clothing and all of it is because we were upset at how things were going in this country.
Right.
At that time, we didn't feel represented in government as young people. And of course, you had, in addition to the Vietnam War and that controversy, you had the civil rights movement as well, and many other movements that were arising at that time. So it was quite a crazy time to be 18, 19 years old. We all survived it, though, and we're all still in touch with each other. I love these little reunions we have once in a while, just to get together for lunch and stuff. And then one guy will say, well, you remember that time we were playing at Beatles, blah, blah, blah. And the other guy will say, no, man, that wasn't Beatles. That was, you know, Pandora's Box. No, you're both wrong, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes at this age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all some very cool stuff. So yeah, you were back from the day of, you know, the big thundering drum kit and the Marshall stacks and
sure, yeah, that all evolved at that time.
Yeah.
But the bands of the day in LA were the Byrds and the Buffalo Springfield.
Right.
There was a great band called Arthur Lee and Love that played in Hollywood a lot, and they're not as well known as some of the other acts, but oh man, they were wonderful.
Do you still dabble at all on the electric side of things, or
I do it in sessions where I'm trying to get a track down, and then, you know, but there are far better people than me to lay down a lead guitar line on an electric guitar. On my last album, I worked with these wonderful musicians. One of the key ones was Dan Ferguson, who's a wonderful acoustic instrumentalist, multi-instrumentalist, and Dan worked on nearly every track on that album and became a friend as a result. And I just admire his playing so much. We had Scarlett Rivera playing violin. I told her she just poured butterscotch all over the songs that she worked on. She's really a dreamy violin player. She worked with Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I know Scarlett.
Several years. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. And we had David Kemper on drums. We had Lee Sklar playing bass.
Wow.
Leland is also a friend. My dad was Leland, and I think we bonded on that point. And he really did a wonderful job on it. So I had the good fortune of associated with some great musicians on that project. And now, as a result, I'm broke. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, other than Eric Clapton and you know, people in that league, show me a musician who's not these days.
I know, that's the way it is. Sad to say.
Do you have any gigs coming up? Any performances?
Nothing firm on the schedule. I'm working on a couple of things. The places I love to play the most are Songwriter Serenade, J.C. Hike.
Yeah.
The Old Oak Cellars venue there. I've played there several times. And also Brad Kohlrick has Wine and Song down in South Pasadena, my old hometown.
Yep.
And these are some of the best stages for singer-songwriters in all of L.A. You know, I love venues where you walk in and all the chairs face the stage.
Right.
I'm kind of picky about that now.
Yeah.
Because I played for so many years in you know, patio settings, restaurants and wineries and stuff. And folks there are just interested in each other and wine and whatever they're doing, you know. But these venues I mentioned, J.C. Hike Songwriter Serenade is out at Matt Denny's Ale House in Arcadia. Yep. Every Tuesday night, wonderful place to play. I've played there many times, and J.C. is a real good friend of mine.
He is a good guy.
Yeah. Same with Brad and the Wine and Song. Terrific people and a great place to hear music.
Yeah. You mentioned, I heard it kind of slide by almost under the radar. You went my last CD. What CDs or recordings of any kind do you have available these days?
I've got two, and my first album is it's on CD, baby, and my website is ericchasemusic.com.
Maybe you can post it when we're done.
I sure
Put
can.
it in the comments.
And we will do that too.
Great.
We always put links.
So that one was called 40 Years, and it was just because I've been working in my day job for 40 years, and I was retiring, and the first thing that came rising up was music. And I had to get back to songwriting in earnest, and I've been songwriting all my life. I got to stack that high, you know, as most of us have who have this bug. But getting into the music again was a turning point for me, and I'm still pursuing it.
What do you do for the day job?
Well, right now I'm working part-time at Recreational Equipment Incorporated. In my earlier life, I was a geologist for over 40 years. And as a result, I worked in outdoor environments, rough environments, construction sites, natural wilderness settings, all these things. And I needed the gear and the clothing to do it. And I love REI. I've been a backpacker since I was a kid. You know, my family was a camping family. We were always in the mountains, and I knew I wanted to do something outdoors with my life, so that was it. And so when I retired, I needed a little part-time job to fill in some money, and I took a job over at REI, and I'm working there now. And I'm also now hooked up with the REI Outdoor School. I'm designing a course on the San Gabriel River and the Rio Hondo, the history, the human history and the natural history of those rivers, which are tied to my family's origins in Southern California. I come from an old California family.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. I'm gonna do one more song, and then I'm gonna try and let you squeeze in a third one before we stop. But, this is 6-string on this one. I played the 12-string on the other, and this is of course still acoustic. It's a little more energy to it than some of the stuff we've been doing. It's one of my older songs, the title song from my. It was my first CD. It was my second album, but my first CD. It's called Still Here. I look in my mirror and I'm standing alone. You're not in there with me, you're not in my home. And that light is not flashing on my answer machine. You have not been calling, you have not been seen. You're not in my life. Oh, it's perfectly clear. Hey, you're not in my life, you're still here. Let me down easy. Yes, we left it as friends. But each day without you, I wake up without you again. And still my friends ask me if I know how you've been. Why don't they stop asking? Why don't they ask him? You're not in my life. Oh, it's perfectly clear. Yeah, you're not in my life. You're still here. I can handle these feelings. I'm alright without you. I'm alright now, I'm healing. Yeah. Even found someone new. But my baby, she asks me, will I ever let go? And I tell her it's over. I say it was over long ago. She does not believe me when she looks in my eyes. She sees what the truth is, and she cries. You're not in my life. Oh, it's perfectly clear.
Nice. Yeah. I love how you express yourself, and I've seen you play on stage. I think it was at the Coffee Gallery. You came out one night, and man, you're ripping away on that guitar.
Oh, thank you.
Getting every little bit of volume you can, and kicking your feet. And I was like, man, this guy's on fire.
Oh, wow.
It's
Well,
fun to
thank
watch.
you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to. That's, some of my rock and roll roots coming out. I used
Sure.
to, I the same background as you. I used to, slide around the stage on my knees and do all that craziness. But it's fun. Yeah, I like putting a little power behind it every now and then.
Yeah.
So, and since you mentioned the Coffee Gallery, I will throw it out there real quick that I'm going to be there on the 29th of this month, which is not quite 3 weeks from now, I think. It's Friday the 29th. I will be there with Severin Brown and Marty Axelrod, who they every now and then they get together as a duo, and they call themselves the, wait for it, Severly Brothers. And I will be splitting the night with them at the Coffee Gallery. That should be a fun show. Chad Watson is going to play bass with me that night.
And all these people are friends of mine, which
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be able to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on down and
You're going to have Severin on this show later this month, aren't you?
I sure am. Next week we have Chauncey Bowers
Right.
is
Another friend of mine.
going to be our guest, and the week after that, which is the Sunday that immediately precedes our show at the Coffee Gallery, Severin Brown will be my
Wonderful.
guest here.
It's
So-
nice to meet these people. Chauncey Bowers is such a wonderful performer. He's an entertainer. And,
He sure
and
is.
Severin, the same thing,
Yeah.
I just love his songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of switching things around here a little bit. Usually I wait till the end and then I sing a song and say goodbye to everybody. But would you like to take us out with
I'd be
a
happy to
third
do
one?
that, you bet. I'll play a song that probably triggered this appearance here, which is the blues song that I played at Cotty Knuckles Live.
I was
at the
kind of
A-Frame.
hoping you would.
It's called Never Be a Fool. When I was a young man, my future was bright. Slept in every morning, stayed out late most every night. And I laughed with my friends, rode around in my car, had the world in my hands, hitched my heart right to a star. Then I met you, Mama. Lord, I lost my cool. And if I knew then what I know now, baby, I would never be your fool. You made me stupid, you made me weak. Every time I looked your way, my mind began to freak. You took all my mojo, you had me by the balls. I followed you around the town as I built my prison walls. When I met you, honey, Lord, I lost my cool. And if I knew then what I know now, sure, I would never be your fool. was your prisoner, I was your toy, I was your soft, lonesome, whoop-ass little boy. But you were my lady, and I was your man. How you done this, what you done, I still don't understand. When I met you, Lord, I lost my cool. If I knew then what I know now, Mama, I would never be your fool. I would never be your fool now, no. Never be your fool, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Beautiful.
For
That
a
was
Sunday morning.
Some very nice guitar playing there, my
Thank you
friend.
very
That was
much.
very impressive.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. Well, I don't know if John O'Kennedy has been watching this morning, but
If he is, hi, John.
yeah, and if not, I'm sure he'll tune in later. I don't know. I haven't asked you who all has been here. As sometimes when I don't have a guest or when we have a little extra time, I chat and converse a little bit more, with the viewers. And sometimes when I get into it with a guest like I have with you, I tend to pay less attention to them, which is not intentional. I'm not trying to be rude to any of you.
He will answer all comments later.
I do. That's a good point. Thank you for mentioning that, Hillary. Every Sunday when we do this, afterwards, I go through. I look at all the comments and I do respond to them. I read them all. So I very much appreciate all of you being here. Do we have all our
Everybody's here.
Everybody's here. Good. Good. Well, Marilyn and Gary and Angelina and Jimmy and all you guys, thank you for joining us. Mel Barkley, thank you. So it's good to see you all. I'm glad you're all still watching.
Many more.
Yeah, well, thanks to all of you. Thanks for watching. As I always say, thanks also for sharing and liking. Especially thanks for sharing. Please continue to send links to your friends and just tell people about it, because that's how we make this thing grow, and that's how we keep it going. And it's fun for me, and it's fun for our guests, and it's fun for Hillary. And thank you also for a lot of you for your compliments on last week's show. Last week we did a Hillary's Choice show where Hillary got to kind of call the shots, and people said we should do more of those, and we will.
You're saying she doesn't call the shots already?
No, I'm not quite saying that exactly. As always, this has been a lot of fun, and again, my thanks to Eric Chase, and it's ericchasemusic.com?
ericchasemusic.com, and my latest album is called In Grace Again. You can find a link to it on my website. You can find me on CD Baby as well.
Yeah.
And on Facebook you can find
And
me.
on Facebook, that's right.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a lot of fun.
It sure has.
We're going to go have breakfast now, and then I'll come back and I'll read all those comments, and we'll be chatting with you online. Next week, as I mentioned earlier, the one and only Chauncey Bowers will be our guest, and he's what can I say? He's a unique individual. He's funny, he's powerful, he's passionate, he's entertaining, he's knowledgeable. He's just an all-around fun guy, and I'm looking forward to having him here. So, and a shout-out also to my good buddy John Zipper, who played last night at the A-Frame, where I first saw you, and a very good show he had, too, along with Moss and Lisa Vig. They were all there. So, anyway, I'm going to stop chattering now. I'm gonna close this thing out. Hillary, anything you want to say to anybody?
Yes, thank you so much, Eric, for coming over, and it was a great time.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for watching, and have a great week.
See you next time.